JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 28th of September 2020. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's afternoon quick session where we're going to have a look at the markets, some of the charts that I looked at this morning just to see how everything is getting along. But as always guys, yeah, before we jump in, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yeah, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So jumping into the charts, now the first one I want to touch on here is the German DAX. As we can see, it's pushing nicely here above this 12,754 territory I talked about this morning and yet in last week as well. So in a way, of course, this break above this level opened the door towards slightly higher levels. But what I was saying that yes, we will aim for the upside, but we'll be very, very careful near the 21-day EMA here because we want to see if it's actually gonna act as a good area of resistance or not. But again, for now, yes, up until this upside line, up until this 21-day EMA, yes, we will aim higher. But we'll see how it's going to perform here. If it starts pushing further above this 21-day EMA, of course, then yes, all eyes are on this upside support line to and from the low of the 15th of June, which we managed to break previously, and then we'll take it from there, guys, and they'll see what we can do here. With the upside, with further upside. But so for now, long story short, yes, from the very, very short term perspective, there is still a chance for this one to move a little bit higher, and then I'll pick up on this and I'll see if it gets halted here near this 21-day EMA, then a slide back down could be possible. But if this gets broken and the price starts rising somewhere above this little territory right here, around the 13,035 zone, then yes, or even we can just keep an eye on that psychological 13,000 zone. If we get a nice push above that, then yep, hopefully more buyers could be joining in here and pushing this one further north. So jumping into DXY, DXY is going to be the next one, but this one here is Dow Jones Industrial Average. So on Friday we saw the index closing nicely in the positive territory, climbing back above this 27,000 territory. What I was talking about on Friday, that if this area continues to provide support, then we could see something like this happening here. And as you can see, this is exactly what happened, and the index moved towards that downside line again. And now the big question, can it actually overcome this downside line? Now the price, if we look at the cash index right now, we can see that the price is currently balancing around the 27,515 mark. So basically we're just below this area right here, this 27,518 zone. To be honest, actually, let me adjust this level because this one has been violated a few times. So now probably what we're going to do here is we're going to keep an eye on this area right here, this 27,488, and of course this downside line. So looking at, as I said, looking at the cash index right now, we can see that the price is already above this barrier, above this this level here, the 27,488, which previously acted as a good area of support, and then it took the role of resistance, as you can see here. by these candles, by the handles of the 21st of September and the 23rd of September. So in a way, if this continues to push higher and breaks above this downside line, then of course, yes, higher levels could be met. But don't forget, for now, we'll be very careful. So like I said, the index on Friday ended the day so around the 27,174, and like I said, now the cash index, we can see that the price is balancing around the 27,500 mark. So that means we'll have a nice opening gap here to the upside, but still near this downside line. So if this downside line continues to provide resistance, be very careful. We could see this one reversing and moving back down. So this arrow, basically this scenario that I talked about on Friday, worked out nicely, I can say that. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep an eye on this downside line, and in terms of levels, if you want to be a little bit more on the safe side, I mean, still keep your eyes on the this little target right here, the high of the 18th of September, near the 27,950 mark. So approximately around there, a nice good push above it would also place the price above the 21-day EMA, and yep, more buyers could be joining in. But again, like I said, if this short-term downside resistance line gets broken, then well, this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for more buyers. So keep your eyes on that one. DXY, so everything's working out according to the idea I talked about last week, at the beginning of last week and the week before that. So basically, after we managed to break this resistance area at 93.81, we traveled higher but found good resistance near this downside line here. So for now, this break didn't really happen today, so instead the index is drifting lower. So for now, what I'm going to be aiming here for is this 93.81 level again, but only, of course, this time a test from above. And if it provides support, then we could see a nice reversal here and a move to the upside. So in other words, something like this here, guys, could be possible. So unless the price starts falling below this hurdle and below the 21-day EMA, and then of course, yes, we will aim for lower levels. But for now, basically this, let me just put an arrow for our future reference here. So basically, yes, something like this here could be possible if the price falls below this 93.81 territory and below this 21-day EMA. But as I said, for now, we're still keeping an eye in our heads this idea of a possible little correction right now, and then a rebound from this territory, and then maybe even a break of this downside line. However, again, too early to talk about that. Let's see how all this is going to play out. If you're more on the cautious side, just wait for a push above this 94.65 territory in order to kind of in order to see confirmation of a higher high, and then yes, higher levels could be met. Silver, of course, is enjoying the weaker dollar today, as you can see, and it is pushing back up. So in a way, for now, what I've said before, yes, the fact that it's rebounding from this upside support line, that's great news. This one's taken from the low, the 18th of March. This is what I talked about last week when I was covering silver, that if that silver might break this upside line and create our move lower. However, be very careful and watch the candle at the day of the end, at the end of the day. There we go, managed to squeeze this one out. So, and because we might get ourselves a false breakout, and look what happened, exactly that. So we had ourselves a false breakout. Even on Friday we had a false breakout, and today the same story. And you can see now the commodity is trying to make its way higher. However, I'm still keeping an eye on this 23.40 territory, which continues to act as a very nice area of resistance. Now if that gets broken, then yes, of course, I'll aim for some higher levels. Maybe not all the way here towards this 26 territory, but maybe somewhere towards that 21-day EMA, and then we'll take it from there. In terms of the downside, now given all this kind of activity here, preferably maybe a drop below last week's low would do the trick, to be honest, because again, if it breaks this upside line, yes, it increases the chances of a further move lower. However, just to be on the safe side, a drop below the 21.66 territory marked by the low of last week could do the trick for more sellers, and that's when we could aim for further declines, guys. So be very careful on this one. Now jumping into Bitcoin, here you can see that yes, Bitcoin is also enjoying the weaker dollar and is pushing higher. It's now climbing back above this 21-day EMA. However, however, as I've mentioned before, in order to consider some higher levels, well, to be honest, I would prefer to wait for a push above this 11,145 zone here, and then aim for further upside. At the moment, what I don't want to see here is a possible kind of range maybe forming. So for example, if Bitcoin travels higher, fails to stay above, let's say breaks this little area, this 11,145, but fails to stay above it and reverses back down, then we could be maybe getting ourselves a bit of a range here. However, let's see if that's going to be the case. For now, all eyes are on this level. Like I said, if we get a nice break above it, then and we see the daily candle remaining above this area, then of course higher levels could be met. Jumping into AUDUSD, so some also the pair is, for obvious reasons, is pushing higher today, moving away from its 100 EMA here, shown as the green line. I talked about this one, and last week I was telling you guys that given that we already had a nice decent move to the downside, if this 100-day EMA does provide some sort of support, we could see the pair rebounding and maybe actually traveling all the way back here towards this 0.7136 territory, or maybe even actually towards this 0.7192 zone, which currently kind of almost coincides with the 21-day EMA. So in a way, the pair could travel a little bit higher here, and then if it fails to move above this area, then another round of selling here could be possible. And in that scenario, well, we could start looking at levels like these, like for example the low of the 15th of June here near the 0.6776. But again, for now, the pair is trying to make its way up again. It might do that, but be very careful here. It might find resistance somewhere near these two levels here, either the 0.7136 or the 0.7192 zone, and then we could see maybe another round of selling. USDJPY, again, everything's working out according to the plan. Last week I talked about this one this morning as well, where I was saying that if this 100-day EMA continues to provide resistance, then we may get a bit of a correction here to the downside. But of course, keep your eyes on the highest point of August near the 0.9240, 41, 42 zone here. If this kind of shows support, then a nice rebound here could be possible. For now, like I said, this is the idea kind of I'm looking at, and if it does move higher, and if it does push above this 100-day EMA, of course higher levels could be met, but don't forget that overall we're still trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 23rd of March, and in a way this downside line might provide resistance. So again, be very careful here, and then we'll take it from there. GBPCAD, now this one is on fire today, and of course everything's related to Brexit, the Brexit talks right now. So yeah, there was a bit of positivity at some point coming out from the talks. There were some spokespersons who came out with some good news, but again, all that is still tentative. So I mean, we are having a nice initial reaction here. It pushed higher. Excuse me, and the most important is that it broke one of the levels here that I talked about previously, this 1.7157 58 territory, and what I was saying previously, that we could consider a move higher if this level gets broken, however only up until this downside line taken from the high of the 31st of July. So I talked about this pair last week, and I was telling you guys to keep an eye on this area, and as you can see, for example, initially the drop below this 1.6980 territory did happen. The pair did drift lower, however it didn't really quite end up moving to the downside here, so it reversed and now it's back above this area right here. So again, at the moment, looking at this picture, if we see this daily candle remaining above this area, then yep, of course, like I said, we'll go for a possible test of this downside line. EURCHF here, you can see that the pair is moving nicely to the upside. So this, while trading above this upside support line taken from the low of the 18th of May. So in a way, yes, the pair could continue moving north. However, just to be on a safe side, a break above this 1.0838 level would be needed. And if you want to look at some lower levels, then wait for at least for a break, a strong move below this upside line, and preferably we'd like to see the daily candle kind of remaining below this area, because as you can see here, for example, last week and the week before that, when this upside line got tested again, neither of the kind of daily candles remained below this area. We'd only got these little false breakouts. So yeah, preferably we would like to see the daily candle remaining below this area here and below this upside line, and then yep, lower levels could be met. And finally, EURUSD. So here the pair is also rebounding a little bit. However, still, don't get me wrong, I mean, it could travel a little bit higher. It could go for this slightly maybe larger correction, but of course be very careful near this 1.1753 territory that I talked about, and this, of course, this little short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 1st of September, because if one of these kind of provide good resistance, then another round of selling here could be possible. So so let me just put the arrow like this, and to mark this potential scenario. In order to consider the upside, this downside line needs to be broken first. So guys, that's a quick review, so I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to catch my video tomorrow morning, as always, my traders espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, have a wonderful evening, everyone, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.